Welcome agents, today we've got a lot of information surrounding Title Update 4.0, including the gunner skill tree, the new exotic holster, and lots more changes from today's state of the game. Now this could be a long one, so make sure you're comfortable, hit the like button below, subscribe for dedicated Division content, and let's get to it. Okay, so let's start off with all of the news from today's state of the game, and then we're going to move on to the gunner skill tree, new exotic gear found on the PTS and other things as well. So today Hamish had Frederick Thylander on stream, the weapons guy basically, talking mainly about the new gunner specialization. But to start off with, Hamish confirmed that the accuracy issues that have been reported in the shooting range, and I've covered in previous, I think in my last two videos, they're a specific issue with the shooting range and should not affect any other in-game activity. Now, I'm not sure how we could test this to be true, but the dev stated it was somewhat specific to the shooting range environment blocking bullets, so it shouldn't be affecting any in-game activities. Now moving on, and the usual maintenance tomorrow will not be going ahead due to a public holiday, but there's likely to be one on Friday. They'll keep us updated on Twitter about this. Next up, the devs confirmed Title Update 4 is now live on the PTS. The gunner was locked yesterday unless you completed the field research, which is an issue that has not yet been fixed. Now they are still working on trying to get this fixed so everyone can test the gunner without doing the challenges required when the live game drops, and again they'll keep us updated on their social medias about this as well. Next up, Frederick started talking about the gunner specialization. Now Frederick talked about the new Banshee skill, which kind of acts like a pulse. It fires out in a cone shape and confuses enemies even if they're in cover, so NPCs in a PvE environment of course will stand up and be all confused. They confirmed for PvP though this will not be a confuse but instead of disrupt. That way it should be less frustrating, but it will sort of disrupt skills and all of that other sort of stuff. Now you can hold the skill down to fire the skill even further, and it will display a warning on the ground because it has a little bit of a startup, so there will be a visual cue in PvP. You will know when someone is using it basically. Now in PvE the AI will not pick up on this visual cue, so they won't have any warning whatsoever. Now they moved on and talked about the coupler skill tree talent for the gunner, which you'll see on screen. They wanted to clarify that when upgrading this it reduces the next reload, so if this was fully upgraded it would only require 2 reloads before it would proc on the 3rd, as opposed to when it's not upgraded it requires 4 reloads before it procs on the 5th. Hopefully that makes sense. They also confirmed this works for any combination of weapons, and the example they used was reloading an SMG twice and then switching to the gunner on the 3rd, and this talent will proc. And I'm going to come a lot more onto the gunner skill tree shortly, so yeah, we'll get onto that. The devs then went on to talk about the new signature meter which has been added. Now this has been added to remove the randomness of SIG ammo dropping so that you have more control over when it drops, and you're also going to get a visual cue of it as well. So on screen you'll see the image they used. I want to apologise for the bad quality here, but as you can see there is a vertical bar next to the ammo on the left hand side. Now this bar is the new meter, and this can be filled up lots and lots of ways by you, but also includes what your teammates do as well. Now the best comparison I can think of as how this works is how the meter fills up for supers in Destiny. This is affected by everything in game but also others as well. The devs confirmed that once the meter is filled up, the SIG ammo drops in the world. It won't drop or go straight to your ammo reserves, and the minigun weapon talent fills the signature ammo meter every time you get a kill without letting go of the trigger. Moving on, and the devs confirmed there is a buff coming to the TAC 50 as part of Title Update 4, along with a buff to the crossbow as well. The TAC 50 is getting a huge increase in damage, and the crossbow has also been improved to make it more reliably destroy armor pieces that the bolts hit. Now these changes are not currently live on the PTS, so just bear that in mind. The devs confirm that skill balancing is currently being worked on with their goal to make skill builds as awesome and viable as DPS or tank builds. Following this, they talked briefly about the changes to the occupied dark zone, which I did cover in my video yesterday, but to summarise in a couple of words basically, think old school rogue from the Division with infinite manhunt levels and a leaderboard to track the highest manhunt rank. That's what it is. Finally, for state of the game, they briefly touched upon the new exotic gear found on the PTS. They mentioned exotic knee pads, but I just think they got a little bit confused and it was a mistake. Basically, there's actually a new exotic holster. So we're going to get onto that. So, new exotic holster. What does it do and should I be excited? Well, On screen, you're going to see a screenshot posted to Reddit by the Persian Raptor. Now, it's called Dodge City Gunslingers Holster, and it will be the first exotic piece of gear in the game. So as you can see, it has 3 talents, and just a side note, on the PTS you can equip this and the exotic Liberty pistol at the same time. So we've got Sleight of Hand, which gives you plus 20% accuracy, plus 20% stability, plus 40% reload speed, plus 400% optimal range, so it's basically a sniper at this point, and then plus 20% revolver damage, and it requires a pistol to be equipped. We've then got Quick Draw, swap into your pistol, reloads all weapons, and then we've also got Perforator. Shots fired from your pistol penetrate enemies. Pistol headshot kills grant plus 20% weapon damage and allows your primary and secondary weapons to penetrate enemies for 8 seconds. This duration is increased to 11 seconds when using a revolver, and it does take 2 offensive and 1 utility mod slot. So firstly, this sounds very strong and I'm very excited, and secondly, I didn't think there was a revolver archetype in the live game, so maybe this is new as well, or maybe I'm just completely wrong. Now, it's worth remembering that at this point it's the PTS, and this may not be coming to Title Update 4, but at another time possibly. Now, the reason I say this is I remember this happened in the Division with a weapon where it got released in a PTS, but it didn't actually make it to that update. It did come out eventually, but not to that specific update, so bear that in mind. This might not be coming to Title Update 4.0. So moving on, and let's talk about the new Gunner skill tree. Now, Redditor Frino, I probably pronounced that really wrong, posted a very detailed screenshot of the skill tree that I wanted to go over. Now, if you're wondering why I've not been able to get this on myself, I am looking to purchase the Division 2 for PC, so I no longer have to post other people's screenshots, but for right now, this is what I have, so hopefully you're okay with that. So let's just go over this, and we're going to have a look at this in detail. Okay, so we're going to start from the top on the skill tree, basically. We're going to work our way around left and then coming up to the right. So for the first one, we've got Coupler Tier 1. I've talked about this before. Every 5th reload is 50% faster, and that can be upgraded 3 times, as most of this stuff does. We then got next to that the Hardened Armor Kits. Armor Kits repair 100% armor and grant 50% bonus armor for 10 seconds. That seems very, very strong. We then got Incessant, which is at Tier 1 kills, grant 5% armor on kill. So this is very much a tanky kind of specialization, which is what I expected. We then got next to that on the left the Riot Foam Grenade. The Riot Foam Grenade ensnares enemies, and that can be upgraded. You only upgrade that once, as you can see. We then got the Signature Weapon Damage tier, which of course, as you know, you can basically, once you upgrade it, then you increase the signature damage by 10%, I believe, and it scales upwards, as do every specialization. Below that, we got the 7.62 minigun ammo acquisition. Killing multiple enemies without releasing the trigger adds to the ammo bar. So, yeah, again, that's going to add to the signature ammo bar as well. Next to that, on the left, we got the group signature ammo requisition. Killing multiple enemies without releasing the trigger adds 1 to group members' ammo bar. Again, that's adding signature ammo to members' ammo bar as well, which is cool. Then we've got all of the weapons, which, as I previously, or I will go over towards the end of this video, now you are going to be able to have every weapon on each specialization, and that's for every specialization. I'll briefly go over that at the end of this video. Now, of course, if you upgrade what looks to be the LMG here, then you do get the large pouch, bigger than standard non-pouch. This fits on any belt-fed weapon. Basically, what this gives you is plus 50 rounds. So that's a significant increase in the amount of ammo that you're going to get with that. So that's very, very strong as well. Now, moving over to the right, we've got the P320X compact pistol, which is the new pistol attached to this particular specialization. We've also got down on the right-hand side, bottom right, we got the supply line, which is the top left one there, which generates 10% of total ammo capacity every 60 seconds. Party members recover 5%. On the right, we got Barrage, which is rate of fire increases by 5% for 5 seconds every time you get a kill. We then got Emplacement, 20% weapon handling whilst not moving. Need to be motionless for 1 second. That's on the bottom left there. And on the bottom right, we got Vital Protection. Reduce the chance you are critically hit in conflict by 20%. And that's the same for everything else. And then above that, we've got Banshee, which is what I was talking about before. The Banshee launches a forward arc of pulse energy that infuses enemies caught in the wave, and it penetrates cover. We then got the microwave amplifier on the right, mod to increase the duration of the Banshee confuse effect, and then directional transmitter, mod to increase the Banshee's range of effect. So this seems very, very strong, especially for LMGs with that 50 extra rounds, the damage, and all the other things combined. This is going to be a very strong specialization. I expect most people are going to be running this with most weapons, I imagine. Moving on, and there are some other changes I wanted to briefly discuss because they are actually really important. On the PTS, all specializations have been changed, and I briefly showed this. Now, on screen is a screenshot of the Demolition skill tree. Now, what you'll notice is that all weapons can be unlocked, and this is the same, as I said, for every specialization. Now, you will only have 45 points to use on these weapons, meaning you can only lock 3 weapons fully for each specialization, now, which I think is a very good change. The Sharpshooter specialization has also been changed separately. It no longer grants headshot damage to all weapons, but exclusive now to rifles and MMRs. So anyone who had an assault rifle headshot build, I'm sorry, but that's going to change. And also the reload passive talent on that specialization, the Sharpshooter, has also been removed as well. So those are all the things I want to talk about in today's video. There is more that I could have talked about, but I'm waiting on clarity for a few things before I make that video, so maybe that'll come out tomorrow. I want to thank you all for sticking around until the end. I really appreciate all of your support, and until the next one, Epic out.